Hey, we're here with Mr. David Dhillon, who helped found Red Ribbon Week, starting down in Imperial County in California. And we're just talking about the importance of our young people and educating them, keeping them off drugs, and now probably even more importantly with the fentanyl epidemic that we've been facing, where one pill can kill. How important it is that we're talking to our young people about the dangers of drugs. So, David, maybe tell us a little bit about kind of your background and some of the things you're doing now today on this front.
I was fortunate in the early 80s to be elected official and meet Nancy Reagan and begin the Just Say No and Red Ribbon. And so basically at that time we learned that the deterrence is the best thing, starting at the educational level. And so I was so happy to be a part of that. It happened at a horrible time for America. Ronald Reagan was president, obviously, and Enrique Camarena was killed by Mexican drug lords. So it had evolved from Just Say No to Red Ribbon to the Camarena group, but basically Red Ribbon is what lived on throughout the community and throughout the country, and went on for decades. And so it was important to start at the young, the teenage level, and so on. And we now have the next epidemic, which is fentanyl and the kids. There's a whole new generation of young people who, between social media and all the pressures of life now, face those kinds of things. So it's great that you're involved in that for the kids, and hopefully we keep fighting. But Red Ribbon Week continues throughout the country. I'm proud of that. It started in Imperial County, Calexico, and El Centro, and is carried on throughout. I still get letters 40 years later from people who ask me what's going on. I'm flown in sometimes to speak about that, and hopefully it continues on. And I'm glad leadership like you in the Assembly and throughout keep it going.
Yeah, tell me again a little bit more about how that started. You had a tragedy in the district.
Enrique Camarena was a DEA agent assigned in Mexico. He was kidnapped by Mexican drug lords, and it was a horrible scene. NBC did a great movie on it later. It was bad times. Generally, in my lifetime, the relationship between U.S. and Mexico has been good. The immigration issues have been there, but overall, it's a good trading partner, and it's been good. But those were bad times in the mid '80s. There were kidnappings back and forth. The U.S. wasn't kidnapping, but there were kidnappings on the Mexican side, and we had to work with that. And so they had the cartel had actually killed one of our agents, and so it was an awkward time. I was elected during that time, but we were able to emerge from something that Mexico supported, and that was an awareness on Red Ribbon, and so on. So Ronald Reagan and the leadership of Duncan Hunter at the time, and again up to this day, people have been very supportive of that, and so on. But that's how it sort of began. It was Nancy Reagan's Just Say No, evolved into Red Ribbon, honoring Enrique Camarena. Today the DEA still honors Enrique Camarena. They have a wing for him at the DEA in Washington, D.C., and the awareness level is an all-time high.
No, it really is. I mean, and I know even up in my district in Northern California, we celebrate Red Ribbon Week, and we do a lot of certs, and we go to the schools. A lot of the schools continue to have this program. But the thing that strikes me is, we've come a long way from that time. I think the education is still out there, but here in California, I feel like, some of the policies we passed, some of the leadership that we've had is almost like, instead of just say no, they're like, just say yes, and almost promoted drug use in some ways.
Yeah.
We're giving homeless people needles,
Yeah.
on the streets to enable drug use. I think there's been a lot of pushback lately, and that's been very positive. And we're getting back to this place where, no, we need to get people off of drugs. We need to be working to get people, I call it more of an empowerment strategy of getting people off of drugs and into a better way of life.
That's right.
And that really, but I think that the roots of that really did start back with Red Ribbon Week and that awareness and talking to young people about the dangers of drugs.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, look, I'm not sure how California got in this mess. I think the leadership that you're providing and others, I think we're on our way back to the kind of leadership and awareness where we're empowering parents, and the kids aren't the bosses, the parents are. But yes, we have to continue this kind of stuff. I think we now are in a situation where the children who are being empowered with Red Ribbon have children who are telling them that, and I think we're going to see the positiveness of that, and so on. But we have to fight the outer extremities of China and others that are bringing in fentanyl. It's a real challenge for elected officials, for parents, for school districts, and hopefully we can win the day. I think we will. I think we will. We just have to start when the kids are young. We did it then, and we can do it now, and I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, with a lot of what we talk about in the legislature right now on fentanyl is like, yes, we need to do prevention, and we need, you know, be in the schools and talking about it. You know, we need to have greater tools to help people maybe when there's an overdose.
Oh yeah.
You know, Narcan and those types of things. But you got to have accountability, and that we felt like that's what's been missing. Is you got to have accountability for these poison peddlers, because that's what they are, who are selling, you know,
right.
pills laced with fentanyl, and they're killing kids.
That's right.
And you know, not having the ability to really bring, you know, real justice to the victims, you know, of those drug dealers. Thankfully, we've been able to push through some legislation that's doing that. Alexandra's Law and others that we're trying to really make, you know, for stronger accountability. But you know, we faced those things before, right? Where there were people that didn't really want to provide that accountability for drug dealers, and we got to get back to that place.
Well, we're counting on you and others to fight against. For some reason, we feel like we have to be compassionate to those that commit crimes or are not being responsible. No, fight hard for the parents that are fighting hard, and go after these criminals. And I think we'll, like I said, we'll win the day. California needs a turnaround, and so Red Ribbon is one of the components that can do it, along with other things. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us today. I appreciate your time, and
Thank
you for your lifetime service to this,
absolutely.
to this mission.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.